Historical strategy simulations aren't for everyone. They can be pretty slow and even a little frustrating. But for history buffs with a megalomaniac streak, it doesn't get better than Europa Universalis.
Let's talk strategy, but let's talk gaming strategy. Most of the games we feature on Tech Report are of the big action, shooting, zombie kind. But now, we're going to look at something a little different. Strategy games are generally slow, methodical, and for those who love them, hours and hours of fun. Very few strategy games come close to the level of detail, though, than the Europa Universalis series, and none has been more frustrating or rewarding than the last incarnation, Europa Universalis 4. EU4 is basically a historical simulation. Remember the board game Risk? It's like that, only more complex. You play the ruler of a country of your choice. You can choose from hundreds and guide them from the 1400s through to the 1800s. The aim of the game is to pave an alternate history for your country, pretty much doing what you see fit and witnessing the outcome. You could play Spain. But what if instead of colonizing the New World, you decided to invade France and become the conquerors of Europe? Or who says that Sweden couldn't peacefully annex Britain? All this is easier said than done. The game doesn't make it easy. In fact, actually doing anything at all in the game takes a major amount of planning and decades to pull off. It also has a pretty hair-raising learning curve. When starting a new game, you'll see a map. What happens next is up to you. You could start building an army if you decide to wage war. But remember, an army costs money, and there isn't much money to go around. You could play around with diplomacy, setting up your royals to marry into other dynasties, or sending diplomats to spread seeds of unrest in neighboring countries. You can also send merchants to trade routes to help sell your country's goods. But don't forget to send ships to protect the trade routes from pirates. Unlike similar games, Civilization for instance, EU4 doesn't want you to just attack, expand, and take over. It wants you to think about your decisions, and each decision you make has far-reaching consequences. If you ally yourself with the enemy of a neighbor, they could begin blocking your trade routes. It's a delicate balancing act that you need to play slowly and with thought. EU4 is obviously a game that will appeal to a specific audience. It's slow, even tedious at times, and it's incredibly difficult. But for those history buffs around who find the idea of creating an alternate world history more exciting than shooting up some zombies, it's an incredibly rewarding experience. Now, if you'll excuse me, Portugal has decided to attack again. I'll need to send some troops to the Western Front.